Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Jay, and I like to talk about tech, have some personal vlogs, and anything like that. So if you're interested, please drop a like on the video and also subscribe if you enjoy the content. Now today, Apple had their WWDC 25 Developers Conference keynote. Today I want to talk about the features that I am most excited about. Let's get into it. First and foremost, Apple started off the keynote with a banger. They have updated the design of all of their operating systems with a design language called Liquid Glass. I think this looks great. I've been getting a little bit bored recently of the current design language. It's been quite a few years since iOS 7's update. It looks really clean, transparent, and polished, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it with the new developer betas. Now, the second thing that I'm super excited for is the updated CarPlay. I use CarPlay every single day. I use it for maps integration. I use it with the Siri functionality to call or message people hands-free because I have a button on my steering wheel that allows me to talk to Siri. It's a great way for me to get any sort of information that I need with a big display in my car showing me navigation and give me play pause, so I'm able to manipulate my media such as podcasts or music and be able to see it at a glance while I'm obviously stopped at a stoplight. And it also is just really helpful for me not to have to manipulate my phone, so I'm very grateful that they updated CarPlay in the new iOS 26 update. Now, with that being said, they've updated the maps features to use AI to learn your driving habits, which helps enable you to bypass any sort of roadblocks, construction, or anything that could make you late to any place that you need to go. I find this as a big plus because sometimes when I'm running a little bit late or when I just want to be able to get some information on where I'm going, this should be super helpful to let me know how long specifically it'll take, because where I live, there's a bunch of construction all the time, and it's really annoying when a road that I frequently use is closed down for any reason at all. So hopefully this will be able to learn my habits and also tell me if anything construction wise is going on or any big accidents or anything like that may hinder me from getting to my destination in a timely manner. They've also introduced live activities within CarPlay, which I think is super awesome. Now, with that being said, they showed an example of this flight tracker showing you live data. So I think that's super cool and will be a welcome feature for a lot of people in CarPlay. Next up, I want to talk about the better phone functionality. Now, one thing that they really honed in on was the hold feature and the call filtering. One thing that I really liked is that if somebody calls you and they tell you their name and the reason as to why they're calling, then iOS will determine whether that call should be passed through or not to the user, which I think is super awesome because anyhow you get any sort of telemarketing calls, anyhow they tell their name and the reason as to why they're calling, iOS will determine whether you should receive the call. And I think that's super cool because sometimes I see an unknown number. I don't know if it's an emergency or not. Hopefully this should be able to prevent any sort of awkward moments like that in the future. Also, they introduced this new call holding feature where when you are waiting to speak with a live agent or you're already on the phone with a live agent and they put you on hold, what you'll be able to do is kind of hang up in a way. It's not a true hang up. The call is still going through, but you're able to put your phone away in your pocket or anything like that. And what'll happen is when the agent comes back on, it'll actually ring your phone again to notify you that the agent is back on the line. So you can either pull your phone out or click on your AirPods and be able to answer the call again and speak with them without having to listen to elevator music for 3 hours on end. Next, they introduce better phone functionality. I think this is pretty cool. Not too sure how I feel about it because when they showed it in WWDC, it looked a little bit cluttered, but I'm waiting to see how it will look and how I'll feel about it better. But basically having pinned contacts up at the top and then your voicemails and recents at the bottom, so you can see at a glance any voicemails, what they said in the voicemail, and any recent calls that you had. I think this is going to be a welcome change, kind of make the process a little bit more seamless and have to click on less things in order to get the information that you may want or need. Next, within Maps, they introduced a feature which I hope it works out very well. It's called Preferred Routes. Now, with Preferred Routes, anytime you engage your navigation based on the habits that the AI from your iPhone has learned, it will give you navigation routes based on the frequent routes that you take. Now, this is perfect because sometimes I don't like to take a certain highway to get somewhere just because it may be a little bit hectic or too many potholes or whatever the reason is. So sometimes I like to bypass that and go a different way where I know the route, and hopefully based on what Apple is detailing, this preferred route will use that in the navigation to prevent it from telling you to go any sort of other routes that you generally don't like to take. So this is a welcome change. I hope it works out well, and I'm super excited for that one. Also within Maps, they are introducing a commute widget. I think this is perfect. Whenever I wake up for work, it'll show me at a glance exactly what my commute is looking like in case there's any sort of roadblocks, road closures, anything like that. I've been waiting on this for years. They just actually started major construction on the highway that I take for work, and so I had to use a completely different route for work one day, and I was completely blindsided. Another big update is the Wallet app. Now, I use the Wallet app all the time for Apple Pay or any sort of boarding pass or concert tickets, or any change that helps out in Wallet is welcomed, for me at least. I love the new feature of the digital ID for travel. They said for domestic locations, you could potentially use this digital ID, which could be a replacement for your passport for domestic travel. And hopefully it gets adopted properly so that I don't have to carry my passport within the US because of the Real ID change. I wouldn't really like to be carrying it more than I need to if it's not for international travel. Another big feature that they introduced in the Wallet update was the fact that you can essentially use like a pay in 4 or any kind of payment plan thing like that in person with your Apple Wallet. Depending on how you feel about it, this could be a welcome change for people who might use paying for a lot, but that is definitely one of the biggest features that I noticed in the new Wallet update. Another big update that they introduced was with visual intelligence. Now, I use visual intelligence a little bit, but I didn't really care for it too much. Whatever you use to take a screenshot on your iPhone, it's now going to be able to show you any sort of information that you may want from certain pictures that are on your screen. Based on the imagery that they showed in the keynote, after you take that screenshot, what it may do is show you retailers of where you may potentially buy an item that looks similar or is the item that you're looking for from. I think this is a really welcome change because there's a lot of times where I may see something on social media and people like to gatekeep certain things that they like. So I would love this feature to be able to screenshot something and see where I may be able to buy that potential product that I am looking for. Another big feature that they introduced in this keynote was this workout buddy sort of thing. Now, I use my Apple Watch for fitness. Granted, maybe a little bit on and off when it comes to working out, but whenever I do work out, I usually bring my Apple Watch with me. And this workout buddy feature uses Apple Intelligence and kind of generates a voice to be able to give you motivation on your runs or walks or weightlifting. I think this is super cool and may be able to actually help enable more people to go to the gym. They may have that motivator in their ears while listening to music or anything, help push them along the way to get one more set done, one more rep. The next big update that they had was with Vision OS and its widgets. Now, I don't have an Apple Vision Pro. I kind of wish I had one, but what I do have is a Meta Quest 3, and the Quest is pretty awesome, especially for the price point. But with the new Vision OS 26 update, what they're doing is actually incorporating widgets into your spatial space, so to speak. I would love to see that in real time, kind of decorate our space a little bit more to kind of see details at a glance. Could probably have like a weather widget on a wall or something like that. So before we go, if I'm still using my Vision Pro or whatever the case is, I could just take a quick look, be like, oh yeah, it's 76 degrees outside or whatever. And lastly, I know, don't have a Vision Pro, whatever, but this also was super cool to me. They are now introducing shared spaces within Vision OS. So the imagery that they showed in the keynote was of two people sitting on a couch watching the same movie together, other people in a workspace being able to manipulate certain things within that workspace together. This is what social computing should be about, is sharing that experience with other people. Already having the headset on, especially since I use my Meta Quest 3, having the headset on is kind of a solitary experience, but just being able to share the experience with somebody that's in your immediate vicinity, I think is a super cool feature. And I know a lot of you have been asking for that. So Vision Pro users are winning with this update. Last but not least, I want to talk about the two big iPad updates that they are introducing with this new design language and everything. True multitasking is coming to the iPad. We're not talking about Stage Manager or anything like that. We're talking about true multitasking with a little X, and to close out an app and minimize an app. Like, those buttons are coming on iPad. This is probably the closest anybody's ever gonna get to a true Mac OS experience on the iPad, and this is a welcome change. I sometimes like to use my iPad is really like my big multitasking thing. I know I have my MacBook and everything, but with my MacBook, it's usually one task at a time, but my iPad is usually my big multitasking tool. Next, we have audio and video improvements with the iPads. So they really honed in on using the iPad for content creation towards the end of the keynote, which I thought was pretty cool, because the iPad is a great budget device to start content creating if you don't really have the funds to buy a MacBook or a big PC setup. iPad is great, especially now with multitasking. It should be made easier for content creators or anybody who is big on productivity. It's a great device. Now, those were some of the biggest updates that I'm most excited for with the new keynote that Apple just released. Tell me about what you guys are looking forward to in the comments down below. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. Please leave a like if you did, and also subscribe if you want to see more from me. I'm trying to pump out a little bit more content. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you soon.